Are in attendance, and now first item on the agenda. But before I get on the agenda, I see that we have a couple of ex-committee members with us in the gallery, and I'd just like to acknowledge them. Tim Kiernan, Dick Vale, and thank you for your service over the years. You guys were great. Okay, first item on the agenda, I need a motion for the approval of the minutes from May 4th. Nick, make a motion. Mandy, a second. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Item 2, special presentations from Wedgwood Banquet and Catering. There you go. Molly?
Yes.
You got something to say?
Yes, sir. I do.
Good.
We actually sent over a PowerPoint.
We didn't have it.
I recognize that place.
I hope you do.
I was going to say, I'm sorry.
It was my fourth clubhouse, but
Oops, sorry. Hold on one second. No worries at all.
Well, thank you guys for making time for us. My name is Crystal. This is Molly. I'm actually the regional manager for Wedgwood Weddings, and Molly's the general manager for our San Clemente location. So we just wanted to chat with you guys a little bit about us, the operations, some things that we're doing, moving forward, and then obviously see if you guys have any questions or additional feedback for us. So you can go to the next slide for me. So we just want to talk about who we are, some updates and what we have to come, some revenue, sorry for the question marks, a little bit of revenue, some customer feedback that we've received, and then, like I said, open it up to questions.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are excited to be here today. Initially, we wanted to meet with you all to discuss the changes that are taking place at San Clemente Shore. We have gotten a lot of feedback from our golfers at our golf committee, and we wanted to ensure you guys that we are taking that into consideration as we move our business forward. We do appreciate the community, the feedback, and the camaraderie from the community itself, and we want to continue to move that forward as we head into the rest of this year and into 2024. So we want to make sure our business is moving in the right direction while supporting San Clemente locals in the process of operating our banquet center. You can go to the next.
And this is just a little bit about our company, Wedgwood. I don't know how familiar you guys are with our organization. It is a family-owned company. We did start at a golf course. So the foundation of our company was actually on golf courses. Over time, we don't have as many golf courses as we did before, but that is the root of where our company came from, is starting out on a golf course. We're at over 50 locations. We've been in the industry for over 30 years. We partner with country clubs, membership-only places, so we have a lot of different resources and different partnerships that we like to work with. And then just a little bit brief about us. So like I said, my name is Crystal. I'm a regional manager. I've actually been with Wedgwood for 12 years. I've operated at 4 different golf courses that have all had pubs. So I'm very familiar with golf course operations and kind of working with tournaments and all that kind of stuff, the things that matter to you. And definitely this year I'm working with Molly on kind of incorporating some of those things that I have knowledge of in the past. And then I currently have 5 locations. So I actually do manage our Orange County and then 2 of our locations in the Inland Empire as well.
My name is Molly. I am the newly instated general manager for San Clemente Shore by Wedgwood Weddings. I was instated January 2nd of this year. Prior to working for Wedgwood, I actually had my 1-year anniversary a few days ago. But prior to working for Wedgwood, I actually worked for a personal care business for 10 years in both sales and management, including vendor management. So while I'm newer to the business, I'm really excited to be learning from Crystal and being able to offer support to you guys in the transitional process. So some of the updates that we've had since I started, they've been a little bit slow going, but part of that is because I wanted to be able to get my arms around the business. Obviously, I'm newer to Wedgwood Weddings and newer to operating a golf course, or at least, living side by side with our golfers. So one of the things that I wanted to do as of January was get my arms around the business, get to know the golfers, get to know the locals. And in that process, since January, as of July 1st, we began with breakfast from 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. That started Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. As of August 1st, breakfast is extended, not from just school weekends, but Monday through Sunday from 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. every day. We also have new snack bar furniture installed downstairs that's been supported by the city. They actually came in and bolted it down to the floor for us. We appreciate that. And so far the feedback has been incredibly positive. Our next step going forward for September and October is new furniture for both outdoor upstairs patio and inside pub to be installed. So we saw how great the furniture looked downstairs. We saw the reception, and initially when we were doing some of our minor renovations with the furniture, we hadn't really considered what upstairs looked like. But we want to ensure that we're creating an inviting environment for our golfers and the rest of our community to enjoy. So we've actually started pricing out furniture to replace what's existing upstairs. And that also includes our pub furniture that is to come. With our downstairs furniture, we do have TVs to be installed, as well as new TVs upstairs to be installed as well. We also are hoping to have weekly specials introduced no later than October 2023, and whether that's a weekly or monthly special, I would love your feedback. Whatever is best for the golfers and the community, that's kind of the direction that we're headed. For December of 2023, weekly dinners will be held in pub and grill for the community. So that's something that we'll do once a week, kind of a chef's choice, to get people from the community and our golf community indoors mingling with us, and just make sure that there's a place for you guys to be on those nights. And then for January 2024, Wedgwood Weddings will be partnering with the City of San Clemente to host quarterly events for the community, whether that be mixers, things to do with the different holidays, different seasons. Definitely something that we're looking forward to doing, and we've spoken a little bit at length with Samantha about that.
And this is just to highlight a little bit of the revenues just over the past 3 years. So it's not a full picture, but our pub revenues, in 2021 at the end of the year, these are roundabout numbers, so about 330,000. We noted 86,000 golfers for the year. In 2022, last year, our pub revenues were up, but we also saw the increase in golfer revenues. This year, we are seeing a trend that our pub revenues are down. We only have 150,000 through the end of June, and we only see about 39,000 golfers. So even if we double those results, we're still going to be under where we have been the past 2 years. A big part of that we know is because of the rain. The rain really was rough for a couple months. So I would love to be able to match 2021 numbers, but I guess we'll kind of see where we're at with rounds. But if there's something that we could absolutely do to help increase in rounds, some kind of partnership that we need, we would love to be able to, whatever we need to do to help increase those rounds, because it does affect our pub revenue. And then on the other side, you can just see where our banquet revenues are at. So in 2021, that was kind of like after COVID, after we were finally able to, it was like a slow ramp up. So it was 2.3 with 146 events. 2022, you see that big increase because we did have that COVID push from couples who had to reschedule. So that's why 2022 was so inflated. It was 3.8 with 206 events. And then this year, we're projecting as of the end of June to be at 3.2 with 169 events.
Is the 206 events, is that primarily or only wedding receptions, or do you have other
all events? That's encompassing all events.
How many do you think you have wedding receptions?
Wedding receptions, for the 206, I want to say it was like 198.
198?
Or wedding receptions, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we do a majority of wedding receptions. Now that's not saying that we can't make room in our calendar for golf events. The biggest thing for us is we need to know ahead of time so we can block off that calendar for you guys. So if there's a tournament that, every June, this is a really big important tournament and we need to do it every year. It's the third Friday in June and we know that this is what it is, then we can totally block that off on our calendar. We just need to know ahead of time. The problem that we run into is, because I know golf tournaments kind of come in a little bit later, so if you're coming to us 2 months before, we probably won't have those dates available. But if we knew ahead of time enough, we could totally know, okay, we need this one date here and this one date in this month, and then we can block it off the calendar, reserve it for. These are city dates. These are dates that we know the city needs for their golf tournaments. I don't think that was something that was established in the past, but it is definitely something that we can do moving forward, especially with us working with Samantha to get these city events going. That's kind of what our thought process is we want to, every this weekday doing these dinners, this date is when we do this special movie night, or maybe work with the golf course and do range and the grill or something like that.
Do you typically have a lot of weddings on Monday and Fridays? Because those are the dates that
Fridays are a lot harder.
FAM, boys and girls.
Yeah. So our Fridays are pretty consistently sold. But if we're talking about 2 Fridays out of the year, it's not that big. We can move revenue around and that's fine if we know that this partnership is really important to us.
Absolutely.
So if it's going to cost us 2 Fridays out of the year, that's something that we can totally concede on. Mondays are a lot more flexible. We have a lot more Monday availability, so Mondays are pretty easy. It's the Fridays or like a Sunday where it gets a lot harder.
And what about the fee for using the facilities? We're talking 3 or 4 tournaments that are big for us in the golf community that they've gone elsewhere because of the fees.
Because of
I
the
mean,
fees, yeah.
can you make it back on individual?
I think it
per
depends
head?
on what they're wanting us to do. Where we have a hard time is where if tournaments come and want a $20 inclusive price, that's really hard for us just anywhere to get a $20 inclusive price. Now, if they're realistic banquet pricing, you're talking about like $30 to $40 a person, then we could definitely work with that. I've talked with Molly, because we usually have minimums on our dates, where it's, okay, if we know that this is a city date, we know that the minimum is probably $2,000, which is pretty much where I've been able to get in those tournaments. They're usually anywhere from like 2 to 4, depending on the size. So it can be pretty reasonable. But again, it's about planning ahead of time so that way we know that these dates are designated for you. So we know that, okay, these 2 dates do have lower minimums, but it's because they're for the city. It's less about revenue for us. It's really about the relationship with you guys and making sure that we're building it up with the golf community, which is why we have no problem conceding on a couple dates.
Well, I think what we're looking for from the golfer side is a meld between, your business and things that we need.
Yeah,
as far as
yeah.
that.
And if it's something where like we need to relook at our menus, like these tournaments specifically want this, that's where we need the feedback so that way we can know like, okay, what do we need to do to work with you guys?
Just out of curiosity, Crystal, which other 5 facilities or 4 other ones do you?
Indian Hills and Riverside, Upland Hills Golf Course, The Retreat, and I also closed that one, unfortunately. Glen Ivy and Fallbrook. So the golf
None of
course
those are in
California.
Orange County.
No, they're not in Orange County. Most of my career has been in the Inland Empire.
Okay.
Yeah. So and now it's taking mini golf course.
All right, great.
Are you finished the presentation?
I think we have
Yeah.
Slide on.
So I just wanted to include a little bit of the golfer community feedback. It's been overwhelmingly positive, which has been great for us. We want to know what it is that the golfers in the community need from us to ensure that we have a successful partnership. So here are just a few things. It would be nice to be able to have lunch here in the clubhouse, either a dinner or a Sunday brunch. It's my first time here and everyone's so nice. Service is incredible. Food is actually good. Umbrellas and better chairs like down in snack bar. These are the type of comments that allowed us to then reevaluate what we were doing upstairs with our furniture. It gave us the feedback that we needed to know. Not only did we need to pay attention to what was happening at the snack bar, but also on the patio, because it really isn't, there's no meaningful reason for the way that the furniture is set up upstairs. It's just the way that it is, and it's always been like that, so that's the way we keep it. So we really wanted to ensure that we were creating an environment where our golfers felt welcome, and so that is the next step in us getting that new furniture for upstairs. Update upstairs furniture, app for menu, umbrellas for shade. Themed drinks, I actually really love this one. Our bartenders are super excited about this. The comment actually went on to give us a lot of suggestions, but we love the idea of doing a themed special for you guys, whether it be drink or food. We know we have that downstairs, but we really don't have anything like that upstairs in the pub. Make the dining area more inviting to guests, so that is where we are getting our new pub furniture. We've also started rearranging the furniture in the pub, and we've included the caddies on the tables and the roll-ups to ensure that you guys feel welcome, that there is a place for you to sit, to have your meals, and to have your meetings. Great employees. Michelle's awesome. She's always in a happy mood and wonderful to interact with.
I
And
second
more
it.
Lori's.
Michelle.
Did you? Okay. So this is some of the feedback that we've gotten that really allowed us to kind of re-examine what we were doing and kind of validated that we were on the right track, but there's more that we could be doing. And then I think there's one more slide. So essentially, we are committed to making concerted changes to our operations to ensure that our community is served and happy. Meaningful changes like breakfast daily and better managing our staff is just the beginning, and your cooperation and support in these changes is greatly appreciated. So thank you for allowing us to be here today. And that's
Well,
it.
that's great.
So I have,
Go ahead.
hi, Molly, thank you. My question, which I brought to you before, Molly, is on the staffing issue. that
Absolutely.
certainly, I think a lot of people would like to come to lunch. They stop in to get a drink before they go out or whatever, and there's nobody there.
Definitely. So it is something that we're working on. We actually just had a retraining for our staff in the pub and in the snack bar, and I'm in the process of hiring new full-time employees for our pub to ensure that we are fully staffed. Those days are incredibly long for our pub workers, and we're trying to really instill the fact that we may not have business, but that may be in part to the fact that nobody is there. And so we have to change our way of thinking. We are in the service industry, we are in hospitality, and we have to create a hospitable environment to ensure that people come in and use our services.
Other questions?
The weekly, the dinners you're considering doing, that's like a once a week dinner?
Yeah, it would be like a Wednesday, Tuesday dinners, the nights of the week where we typically don't have any events going on. So we'll be able to look ahead at our calendar, be able to work with our marketing department to get something out to you guys, and ensure that the golf shop is aware as well. That way we can ensure that people as they come and go can come in.
And I think that Samantha had mentioned there's ways to communicate to the city so that it goes on the calendar.
Absolutely.
So people that can go
Yes.
on the website and see what you're offering.
Yes, exactly, absolutely.
Well, my wife and I used to go down there before Wedgwood for dinners and stuff, and it was great. You know, we'd do it once a week. But I would kind of miss
That's what
it.
I've done at other places, is just have a every Tuesday is Taco Tuesday night, and we have tacos for dinner or whatever it may be. But our big thing is we want to make sure it's something that the community and the golfers want. So we really have been pressing the pub staff forward to fill out suggestion cards and to give us the feedback, because I don't want to go and sponsor, a Taco Tuesday theme night when what they really wanted is Pasta Wednesdays, So whatever feedback you hear, we would love to have it, because we really do want to cater this to not what we think, but what people actually want.
Do you have cards that you're putting
Yes.
out? Are they in the pub?
Yes.
Because we can have the different clubs, the ladies and the gents.
Yeah, that would be great.
That would be perfect, yeah.
Yeah,
And
we would
then
love
you'll
that.
hear from the golfers.
Perfect, yeah. So they are there behind our bar, but I can go ahead and have our pub staff move them to make them more accessible. So yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, just have them in the caddies with sometimes.
Yes, Debbie and Lori are happy to hand them out, Michelle and Angel as well. So if you have any comments or suggestions, let them know. They can grab you a card, but we'll make sure they're more accessible for you guys.
Great.
Yeah, things like family nights might be nice. You can Get
Absolutely.
like cornhole out somewhere. And you could ask the golf course to maybe do a little something fun on the putting green
Yeah.
for kids.
Yeah,
and
I
stuff
love
like that. It probably would attract families.
That's
Yeah,
what
it might,
was earlier,
it's
yeah.
like a train, right? It'll take a while to get moving, but once it gets going.
But once it gets there and we
Yeah.
establish these
It'll
things,
just
then
take
we
a
just
little
get it
bit
on the calendar, we know like, okay, this is what we're always doing. We know
Yeah.
that this time of year is when we're doing our kids' family night or something to kick off the summer.
Absolutely.
I sat in your new furniture today down at the lower end. It's nice.
Do you like
It's
it?
a nice
Good,
change,
perfect.
yeah. And I think that probably the biggest issue is just people don't feel comfortable. I don't feel comfortable upstairs.
Definitely.
I think that seems to be the universal opinion, is that that's
Absolutely. And
like
we understand that. So we've started making more concerted changes to the way that we operate our business. So coming in January, I had personally never worked in a pub before. I'd never worked at a golf location. The previous location that I worked for with Wedgwood was an estate that had been a golf course at one point, but had closed. So this was a crash course for me. And getting your guys' feedback in that you don't feel comfortable, immediately red flags went off in my head. And the first couple of weeks that I worked here at San Clemente Shore, I sat in the pub because I wanted to know your faces, I wanted to know your names. The only way that I can serve you is by doing that. And so kind of getting a feel for the business and how people would walk in and immediately walk out. And so again, that kind of goes to our staff retraining. We want everybody to feel welcome. We don't want anybody to walk in and not be immediately attended to. So we've taken to doing our planning appointments on the other side in the banquet space to ensure that we're not interfering with you guys coming in, having a drink, and talking about golf. I have no idea what y'all are talking about, but I don't want to interfere with that. So I've started retraining my staff to ensure that they're doing their planning appointments and their meetings on the other side of that air wall to give you guys more space and the privacy that you guys need and deserve in the middle of the day. We want to be able to share this space with you without infringing on it. It also goes as far as, ensuring that my pub staff says hello when you walk in the door, that my cell staff, if they're sitting in their cell's, office, they say hi and they direct you to where you need to be or to somebody who can help you. It's those little changes that we're looking to make to ensure that you do feel welcome. And I'm hoping with the new pub furniture, putting the caddies on the table, making sure that menus are readily available, that does change the overall feeling and tone when you walk into the building.
The breakfast, first of all, could we get a copy of this to send to us, the presentation, so we have the information?
Yes.
Thank you. So you're starting that now, the 6 a.m. to 11 every day?
Correct, yes, that actually started August 1st.
Okay, great.
Yes. I have some that I don't know.
Anything else?
Just
Thank you,
Any
ladies,
other
for the presentation.
questions, please let us
Thank you
know.
for listening to the
Oh,
feedback
absolutely.
and coming up. But these are great changes that Wedgwood has not offered us up until now. So thank you both very much
Absolutely.
for making these changes.
Yeah.
Hopefully it will reward you back.
No, we take this partnership incredibly seriously, and we hope that you feel that from us and the changes that we begin to make. So thank you
Yeah, I'd
again
like to
for
see it
allowing
take
us
off and get back to where it used to be.
to.
I love
That's the
a busy
goal.
golf course.
Yeah.
I love a busy golf course. Thank you guys so
Thank
much
you
for
so
your
much, we
time.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
See you after.
Thank you.
Oral communications, anybody fill out a card? I don't have it.
I wouldn't mind saying something.
Well, did you fill out your card,
I did not.
Kieran? You know how this works.
Can I?
Yeah, go ahead.
Wait,
Oh, absolutely.
coming to the, I just want to say I'm encouraged by this because I did come to complain about Wedgwood. And, yeah, we don't feel welcome. Like when we finish golf, we come in, there's nothing on the tables, like salt, pepper shakers or anything, so it doesn't feel like it's open.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
so you feel like you're in French.
We walk in and sometimes the person's not even there. So anyway, I just felt like the call first, we're being neglected. And I know you guys do a great job on weddings, but we're golfers and it's a golf course.
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely.
We only needed one take on the weddings. We didn't.
Is there any trying to home now?
Yeah, we
I'm
did.
going home too. So I want to thank you all for your support and being together for all these years. Ben, good luck with the trip report now. Good luck.
He's done it.
I'm gonna mail it to you. Just
Send it to me for editing, will
You're
you?
gonna be
Yeah,
so jealous.
Hey Ben, it's not Courier New.
I know.
It's not.
Yeah, I couldn't find that font. They expired about 10 years ago.
Now, let's get into
See
some
you
old business.
Oh, you can stick around.
What do we got for old business?
Nothing.
That's what it looks like. Let's go to the new biz. Oh, election of a chair, vice chair. Oh, there we go. You got any nominations?
I'd
Can I
like
make
to know. Sorry.
Can I make a motion
Yes?
that we keep our chair and vice chair as they have been for the last year?
Well, yeah, nothing's stopping you from making a motion.
I will make that motion to go through. Does anybody second that?
I'll second it.
Well, I just feel that, I don't want to be a dictator, I just...
You're not.
You're a dictator.
I don't have a problem with it. I mean, the work's indoors and there's no heavy lifting. I can do it.
Well,
Well,
should we vote on it?
yeah, it has to come to a vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Well, I'm not going to make it unanimous.
I mean, you're voting for me.
Oh, yeah, voting. Well, I'll do the vice chair. All right.
Force the issue. Love it. Sorry, Ray.
Thank you.
Well-
Thank you, Ray.
Yeah, I feel like I got off track here somewhere.
This is it. We'll let you off the hook next year.
You promise?
Promise.
That's,
Yes.
Debbie, you got that, right?
I got that.
Next year.
Development of the golf course committee work plan. How are we doing on that? Did we get new ones to go out, or we have been working on that? Everybody get their suggestions?
What would you
Samantha?
So there's a couple of ideas on your agenda report. I didn't receive anything alternately from any committee members, but that's the point of this item. If you want to kind of open your discussion, you can see, obviously the big one is we finally received funding for the master plan update, which is terrific news. So we will be releasing an RFP for a consultant to come in and survey the course and do all those good things that come along with the master plan. I anticipate the committee being very involved in that process. You guys are major stakeholders at the course, along with our men's club, our women's club, the pro shop, certainly Wedgwood, all of the stakeholders will get input. So that will be added to your work plan. There's also marketing opportunities that we can consider. If there's any priority projects that you'd like to see accomplished, that's going to be a little bit more challenging to do because our budget's already adopted. But I know Jordan has a couple of projects, at least one that has been approved. And then do we want to consider looking at course fees again? We've done that 2 years in a row. We've increased fees. We've kind of committed to at least assessing it on an annual basis. We may do nothing, but we may do something. So that's also something you could put on there.
So do we owe you what we would want to put on here today, or are we?
It's up to the
Is it our last
committee.
chance
If
right
you,
now?
yeah, if you feel like you can all come to a consensus of the items that are important, I would be happy to work with the chair to compile the work plan and then ship it off to council. We can always hold another special meeting if you want to get another look at it. We've done it both ways, actually, for the golf committee. We've come back again, and we've also just worked with the chair and vice chair to compile it based on the feedback tonight. But it's up to the group.
Yeah, I mean, I think we have to add the assessment of the rates. I mean, you just look at this course compared to the ones in town, around town, comparable. We have to do that detailed assessment to look at rate. And I know Jordan's.
You're really trying to become Mr. Popular,
I
right?
am, I know. And I know Jordan's costs are going up quickly. We all want the staff to be at full strength. Not a significant increase, but you know, if you do it in little increments, it's probably a lot less painful than doing one every 5 years. That's more significant. So at least an assessment I would add to the work plan, the annual work plan.
You know, I think assessment's a good idea. You know, at 90,000 rounds a year, I mean, it's my kind of question to Jordan is, you know, is the money coming in the door sufficient to support, you know, the right amount of support for a golf course in this day and age? I don't think raising the rates just to raise the rates is the right idea, but we also don't want to starve the machine.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I think if it's needed, you need to do it.
Yeah, I mean, just costs across the board are going up, and I think because we're a recreational sport, we're feeling it more because I think companies feel like they can, as opposed to like agriculture where they are like providing a benevolent source. But because we're golf, you know, something might be, fertilizer might be $30 a bag, but we see it for $45 a bag. So yeah, just everything's going up, water's going up, you know, so I think that green fees should reflect that, you know. It's kind of...
What's your staffing situation, Jordan?
So we have, including myself, the mechanic, everybody, we have 7 full-time staff members. And we also have 3 full-time temps. So right now, we finally had kind of a good crop where they've been a little more consistent. We've had the same 3 together for the last like 3 months, which has been good. You know, it's been quite the rotating door over the last 2.5, 3 years. You know, which also puts a burden on myself. You know, retraining people, hiring people. You know, doing the whole interview process. So right now, this is kind of the strongest we've been since, you know, I took over, since Gus left, so I'm pretty excited about that, and I think the course is starting to reflect that as well.
The 3 temps you have, is that because you're short 3 full-time staff members?
Yes, yeah.
So what's the status of you being able to hire the staff?
They are now open, and we're conducting interviews next week, so I'm
And
ecstatic
so
about
you have
that.
the budget to hire the 3 staff?
Yes.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. And that's
Staffing, I want to note that the city's still going through its class and comp study that could impact what the golf course staff are paid. We don't know for sure, but that study will probably land in November to the city council. It is still in city council's purview to either adopt a revised salary schedule or do nothing. But that said, our fee study typically lands for the golf course, we usually see it at the first of the year typically is when we bring that to you guys. So the timing is still pretty good. If there is an increase in staff salaries, we could reflect that in our fees.
How much longer are we on the hook for the mortgage?
For the clubhouse?
That's not the right guy to ask. but-
No, you got some ways to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Long time.
the loan, if you remember, we were paying back the loan at a very steady rate, and then in about 2017, when we saw rounds dip and the general revenue was down in the golf course, we adjusted the repayment of that loan almost all the way down to about between $15,000 and $30,000 annually. Where prior to that, we were paying almost $200,000 annually. So we're behind in that repayment, if you will. So we're playing a little bit of catch up. I can get you the definitive amount of years if you like, but it's in order to keep us in the black year to year. We adjusted the repayment of that loan.
So maybe if you get it transferred into a student loan, you could get it forgiven.
We just have to forgive ourselves.
Yeah. All right, any other reports? You want to go on with that?
Are there any other things the committee's discussed before about the master plan or long-term things in nature? Like, I think about standing on the tee at number 3 and wanting to stand behind a tree because the ball's coming over the top of the fence. Are there any sort of big things like that that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there has been plans.
So that's been approved and we've gotten bids for that. That's part of our capital improvement plan. We are raising that fence. So we're hoping that'll take place. I can't say for certain, but this spring, or sorry, the fall, the upcoming spring, we're gonna raise the fence, to protect people from 6 as well. It's gonna go all along 6.
Yeah, makes
So,
sense.
yeah.
That's the one that's needed.
I know we always put the
That's what's
trees.
needed, 6.
Yeah. I always get nervous. I hit a great drive and then I'm like shaking, like hitting my approach shot, hoping to not get hit.
You learn to put the cart in between you and the ball.
I know.
I know we always do trees,
Yeah.
the tree policy. We have put in, I think we did that last year, we got a more robust tree policy in place, but to continue looking at that, right? Because as we've seen this last year, we lost a lot of trees, making sure that they're replaced efficiently and effectively, right? Not just willy-nilly.
Well, have we exhausted our tree budget yet?
No, well, it just got replenished July 1, so yeah, we're good now. So we're gonna start planting a couple more trees. We want to space them out so that we can take care of them. We can't just plant 50 trees and then let 20 of them die. So when we plant them, we take the time to plant them. We want to make sure that they're attended to properly. So we've planted quite a few over the spring and early summer, and we're still watering them, feeding them, keeping an eye on them, and they're all doing really well, looking healthy. So we think kind of late fall going into winter, we might look at planting some more, adolescent trees, like those sycamores. Like we can do that. We can do that. Those size trees, like 15, 10 footers. We can do that in the house. So we're looking to do that. End of
What's the
fall.
best time to plant? That many.
Spring, fall.
Spring, fall.
Yeah, you don't want to do it in the summertime, really. And you also don't want to do it in the wintertime because too much rain is not a good thing. You can get a lot of root rot, and then just the heat of summer isn't very good.
So you have specific areas you're looking at planting trees where we lost the trees?
Yeah, lost trees, and we got some dead pines that we want to take out. Like, we took one out on number 1, and I think that is a priority. That's kind of an important tree for playability. So that's first on the list. We're going to plant a tree there, and then looking at one between 3 and 4T, in that rough area as well. And then replacing the one on 11, taking that pine tree on 11 that's dead, the small one.
Yeah.
But that's also kind of important for playability as well. So.
I like what you did on the 5th fairway. Are those people happy now?
Well, we were getting.
I'm trying.
You were getting a report done, an independent report done, has that been completed yet?
Yeah, that's likely not going to be disclosed to the committee because it's going to potentially expose us to some areas that we might be deficient in terms of the liability. I want to say, I think looking at trees on an annual basis is absolutely fair. At the minimum, we put it on the work plan, and then it could be something like, the golf committee seeks to review the condition of the course and its trees on an ongoing basis, particularly after storms and kind of those bigger weather events. What we saw earlier in the year is a good example of that. That was a bit of an emergency situation, and we want to make sure the committee has the flexibility to pass along recommendations to council. And that would be the point of the work plans, something like that that's broad enough but also gives some teeth for the committee to look at it on an ongoing basis.
Yeah, so we got two things I think so far. That we kind of,
What was the first one?
rate assessment.
Oh, yeah, rates, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, if we can come up with what we want now, then I think
Yeah.
Mandy, you and I
Safe
can finalize those with Samantha and team. But so yeah, trees, obviously continuing to take a look at those and the impact they're having. Rate assessment, and then, I don't know, anybody else have anything else?
E-bikes, can that be part of, or is that part of, actually it shouldn't be part of the committee, it should be part of the city problem.
Yeah, that the committee actually reviewed that. We have to take along a code amendment to council, and it's required at a public hearing. So that'll probably get to council in September, is my guess, and that will codify it, allowing it to be enforceable. But I don't know that there's much more that the committee could do beyond
Yeah,
that
we looked
effort.
at that whole thing.
Is there something that the city can do with the park rangers? If the park rangers are checking on regular parks, can't they check on the golf course as well? It's a city course.
They can. Some of the difficulty becomes that this is an enterprise fund, and the park rangers are very much dedicated to the parks. So I can look into expanding their route, but I can almost guarantee that their workloads and their routes are really consumed with the park system. They check on permits all over the parks, and we process anywhere from 80 to 90 permits per month on a weekend. So their time is really well spent at the parks. They're also getting looped into a lot of the activities on the beach as well. So I don't know if they have the bandwidth, but I'm happy to look at that. I think generally it sounds like we would want to look into enforcement measures for the golf course, whether that's the dogs on the greens, or e-bikes, or people doing flag football on hole 5, things like that. I think that could be an approach that we look at.
Well, and it's mainly at night, right? It's
Yes.
not during the day.
Right.
It's all at night.
Right.
Is there some way that the sheriff department can review, I mean, to me, it's not really the golf committee's issue, it's the city issue, it's the city property. And it's being damaged and costing us money to fix. So it's not just it's inconvenient, they're causing damage.
It's a trespassing issue.
Yeah, let me, I don't think it's an item for the work plan, but taking that feedback, I will follow up with all of our different enforcement bodies to see what we can do to at least spot check and write a few citations that gets the message out really quickly.
Yeah.
Sure.
I had a suggestion on 5 to help with the city liability. You've got all those no parking signs down on the golf course side. Is to put another sign up with that in conjunction, that beware of, flying golf balls or something, walk at your own risk, something to that effect, where they can see it right there. Oh, maybe I better walk on this side of the street, or
Yeah,
something like
it's a great
that.
idea.
Keep them
Absolutely.
away.
Yes. We will, we talk to maintenance about getting something added to that. It's easy to do.
I noticed one of the items from the plan last time was to provide input on priority projects to be accomplished during the upcoming year. I think it's probably worthwhile putting that on again.
Sure.
Something about that, so that we can all help weigh in and on the projects that I know Jordan feels a priority. I'm probably not going to disagree with you on that, Jordan, but it's good for us to be able to have input to that. That's probably worthwhile adding as well as the third one. Anything else?
Anybody else have anything?
So we need a motion and a second and a vote to essentially give authority to the chair and the vice chair to work with staff to develop a work plan that then gets forwarded to the city council.
I make a motion to what she said.
You don't want to repeat that?
No.
I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. I think we need to fill a couple gaps here on the Green Subcommittee. I want to go back on that with Ben as Dick is leaving.
You need to go to 6B first,
Yeah,
golf
let's get through.
maintenance staff update
We're on.
or report
We're on.
from Jordan.
All right. 6B?
Yes.
I defer to you, Jordan.
All right, so it is August, which it doesn't matter what part of the country you're in, it is the most difficult time of year to maintain a golf course. So we are in the absolute height of it. Dog days of summer are here, and the grass is just going crazy. I don't know if you've been on the course lately, but yeah, the rough's going crazy, everything. So luckily, about a week ago, we got a new rough unit that's been really helping us out, trying to keep the rough down. So I think moving forward, we're going to be able to stay on top of that. It's just a pull behind unit, but it doesn't have these belts, so there's less downtime. So we're really excited about that. We re-leveled number 7T, so that's going to be opening up probably in like 2 weeks. So that'll give us more tee space because it was kind of like two plateaus, like you could never use the middle of that tee. So it's going to give us a lot more tee space and not have that white tee looking so beat up. So yeah, basically we're just going to be busy just with, routine maintenance, keeping everything trimmed up, and we've been doing a good job. I think we finally found a formula to keep the greens consistent all year round. Like in the past we used to have lightning fast greens in the wintertime, and then they'd slow right down in the summertime. So I feel like we found a kind of happy medium from January to December. So I'm really pleased about that, and yeah, that's basically it. And then going into next month, we're going to be doing an aerification, just a solid deep tine. It's about 10 inches down, solid deep tine, and then we're probably going to do small cores on some of our weaker greens, like 1 and 3, just to kind of give it a little, just to alleviate compaction a little more. So,
Do you have a date for that?
yeah, the 27th of September.
Okay.
That's for all the greens?
Yeah.
While we're on the subject of the tees, my understanding that we have access to the city maintenance equipment now? Is that true?
So
Yeah, we have.
We could use their rollers,
What, Samantha?
Yeah,
on the tee,
I-
variate them and then roll them out so they're flat?
So what Rick is referring to, and Jordan was more focused on the maintenance of the course, which is great. There's somebody that's not here that will be here going forward. Randy Little is our maintenance manager for the city. Starting on July 1, we kind of split golf, if you will. So golf maintenance is now underneath Public Works maintenance, which is Randy Little's purview. So that includes parks maintenance, beach maintenance, and street maintenance. And looking at the city's organization, it aligns really well. It gives more resources to Jordan and his team. And Randy Little is really well versed in the maintenance of our park system and looking at the maintenance of facilities. It's certainly not to take away from Jordan's amazing capabilities of managing the golf course and the greens, but Randy is really talented with kind of everything else outside of the greens, if you will. So if you visited our parks and you think they're great, that's because of Randy and his expertise. So to your point, Randy has a bit more resources and certainly can tap into all of the different contracts and see what can be transferred over to supporting the golf division as well. On that note, if I can, I want to give a couple of other updates because alongside parks maintenance, they have facilities maintenance. So this gives access to the maintenance staff, and they have HVAC specialists, plumbers, they've got electricians. There's just a whole lot of specialty staff within the maintenance division. And so with that, and over the last couple of weeks, myself and Randy and Brian Fields, who's the maintenance operations supervisor, we've toured the clubhouse specifically. My role in all of
I know where
this,
this is going.
my role in all of this, Jordan has the greens. That's his area. I'm going to take a much closer look at the clubhouse operations, pro shop operations. You can akin it to, I have front of house, Jordan and Randy have back of house, if you will. So we've toured the clubhouse. Lots of improvements need to happen there. It's alarming to me that there's been a lot of deferred maintenance that's gone on, and just really minor things that are quick fixes, but really polish the place up. So a couple of things that our maintenance staff are doing, the public works maintenance staff, changing all the HVAC filters. They're fixing all the outlets that are hanging off the wall for no reason. They're gonna deep clean all the restrooms, upstairs, downstairs, the maintenance shop as well. That's gonna happen in the next couple of weeks at night. They're gonna be working to fix all the plumbing fixtures, the toilets. There's some real issues. We think that part of the smell of the restrooms is because the drains are disconnected. So that's a big issue as well. And all of those are things that, again, maintenance is really versed in, and they noticed it immediately and have the resources to fix it. They're going to fix the rain gutters. There's standing water in those. They're going to go through and kind of touch up some of the walls that are scuffed from carts and all of just regular routine use. You'll also notice that in the practice area out by the ceremony site, they realigned what is kind of that curb that was used for carts. That was taking up a parking space and was not the best location. The idea was great, but they moved that, so it's now not impacting a parking space, but still allows access for golf carts to get up and down from that area. We're shifting our focus to the ceremony site as well. There's a lot of cleanup that needs to happen in that space. Wedgwood has been apprised of all of this, and I sent them a memo seeking correction as soon as possible, so we're working with them on that. You heard them tonight talk about more events, bringing golfers in. That is my goal, to collaborate with them, to light the fire under them and really invite golfers back in. We would like to do quarterly events, as you heard them mention as well. That would be something not on the golf course staff, but the recreation staff. And this is an effort, citywide, we're looking to return access to our residents for our facilities, and that includes the beach club as well. So the one is to create some family events on a quarterly basis, and again, make it a spot where people want to go to, that it comes up, we're looking for somewhere to go for dinner, let's go stop by the clubhouse. That's the goal that I'm gonna proceed with Wedgwood on, and I think we've seen some measured improvements even in the last couple of weeks. So with that, please reach out to me if you're walking through the facility and you see an issue. Give me a call. I'll do a facility walkthrough on a monthly basis, but things come up in between. So that's kind of the structure now. The goal is to get more support for Jordan. We're also going to look to how we manage the cleaning of the course restrooms. That's something that Jordan's team manages. They are far more talented to be cleaning restrooms during the course of duty. So Randy's going to be looking at handling that as well and differently also. So.
Randy's everything. I'm anxious to get the course back and where people are going in there.
Absolutely. Agreed.
I'm sorry, Jordan, I interrupted you with that question.
No, I'm basically done, and to answer your question, Randy's, we've been working a lot together for the last month, and it's kind of like his resources are now my resources.
Yeah, that's what I
Which
was
is,
thinking.
which is good. I mean, it kind of always has been, but now it's more kind of official. So, yeah, he's been good. He's definitely, you know, probably next week, I think, they're taking over the bathrooms, which is a big deal for us. I mean, it's
Yeah.
probably 20 hours a week
Yeah.
that we can focus on the golf course now. So that's a good thing. You know, cleaning our offices too. You know, we did that, yeah, every day. So it's nice to not focus on that. So yeah, it's a good thing. Air conditioning's working now. Stuff like that, you know, it goes a long way. So
We
it's
just
good
call it the
support.
marine layer.
Marine layer.
I think at the last meeting you mentioned that you were thinking of putting in a silver tees on number 6.
Number 6. Yeah, yeah, that's still not probably till after aeration, October, November.
And are you looking?
We're trying to do like one a year, kind of, you know, not exhaust our crew. So
Okay.
Is that infrastructure related to the silver tees? Is that what we're talking about?
Well, the silver tees
just
are
building a
just,
proper team.
are just stuck into the.
Yeah.
This is the actual building.
Make a tee
You
box.
make a tee
Yeah, we did a couple on like
That's
12,
what- See if that was on the plan as well.
Yeah, yeah.
How's the water situation?
So we've been using moisture meters on the course more, so we're using less water but more efficiently, I think. So the reclaimed water we get, I can't answer that because it's different all the time. Sometimes we get clean water, sometimes we get the backwash, which is nothing but just dirty rust water. Like you can see it pumping in our pond, and it's brown. So it's like, oh boy. So, yeah. As far as the quality, it's inconsistent, but there's a lot of nitrates in it, which is fertilizer that we don't need, essentially. So, but yeah, it's getting more and more expensive. That's for sure. So, all the rain that we got over the winter really helped us. So it's been a good kind of springboard, you know, going into summer.
Didn't do much for the CASA.
No, sadly not.
Anybody have any questions on the activity report that was provided in the agenda?
You didn't get your 100,000 rounds, Jordan. I know that's like a threat.
I know.
You're like trying to get.
Well, I think we did. Unofficially, we didn't.
Oh, unofficial.
There might have been a lot of
You have about 120
extracurricular. I've seen a lot of glow-in-the-dark golf balls up
Yeah.
there, so in the mornings.
Who knows?
Is that you're into June? Is that what we're looking at?
Yeah, July 1st is the beginning of the
Yeah.
school year.
All right. You finished?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
You guys are good. Everyone's good.
As I jump the gun here, the Green Subcommittee, we need a hole there, and I want to volunteer for that with Ben. And we have to replace Dick Vale. We did with his son, but I think there's other things to come.
There's other committees too, the
Yeah.
finance committee as well.
Anybody have a problem with me going back to my old subcommittee? I'll meet you outside. Okay, and I think,
Do you want me to do a report?
yeah, let's get the finance committee, see down there, which I think Mark should be
Mark,
on.
definitely. should-
I'm interested in being on that one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Does anyone want to replace me or should I stay there? Looks like it's me.
That's up to you.
Like it.
Okay, you want to go over the course?
Yeah, okay, so did the course tour, Jordan and I did on Monday. Overall, I think everyone thinks that the golf course is in very good shape. I've had several people tell me that it's some of the best they've seen it in years. Fairways are just fantastic right now. I think everyone would agree. They're consistent. The coloration is great. The coverage is good. There's no holes. I mean, kudos, Jordan, to you and your team for that. Greens are, I think you said they're running around 10s on the stint meter, give or take. Probably more like 8 in the afternoon and 10 in the morning, probably. Just-
Yeah, they grow a lot through the day
Yeah.
this time of year.
Yeah, as I said here, you told me the greens are growing extremely quick.
You'd be surprised how much like cleat marks can slow down a golf
You know,
ball,
I-
all that friction.
I
You can
believe
stand
it.
the grass with it.
Yeah. So you guys are using the growth regulator. There's been a lot of requests to add a second hole to the putting green.
Yeah.
So just to kind of spread the wealth out a little bit.
Talking about the back?
No,
Like
on
two
the-
at the back?
On the putting green?
Yeah.
On the, you've got
could
them
put-
on the east side, or the west side, Brenton one, and put it on the west side.
Well, except I know you have concerns with putting one on the west side will really make it, that part of the green get destroyed, right? The east side.
East side.
The east
The
side,
east
you're the
side.
first tee box.
So that's actually the north side. So,
Okay.
okay. Yeah, that side, it's already beat up, so the reason I put a cup,
Yeah.
like on the ocean side, was to deter people away from that. Because some people kind of just, you know, I don't know why, because it's so close to the pro shop maybe and it's
easy to
flat.
drop a ball on.
Yeah, yeah.
You
So,
have like 5 seconds.
Yeah,
to
yeah,
play.
yeah.
so they roll a couple
Yeah.
putts and then they see, oh, there's a hole back there. Okay, I'm gonna go back there. So it was a deterrent. So, I don't know, before we put that, I think it's been successful because before
Yeah.
we put that cup, when there's no cups there, that area was just constantly getting beat down. And it still is but to a
Well, you've
lesser
got
degree.
pins in there, so I mean, they're gonna putt, if there's no hole, they're gonna putt for the pin, so
Yeah.
they're still.
I mean, we
gonna
can
putt.
take the pins out.
Exactly, I was gonna say cordon off that section when you want it to rest and move, you know, not necessarily put 2 holes on the other side, but just make that the putting green.
So, I'm sorry, are you saying?
Cordon it off, so the side closest to the first tee
Yeah.
isn't even being used.
Yeah.
Or just move the pins
true.
over so it just directs traffic over there.
Yeah, I mean, we can just not have any pins over there either.
Yeah.
I mean, I think people are still gonna,
Yeah, which it'll be less.
Less and
So
less.
it's all about less.
Yeah. Yeah.
25% of the load off that would probably do it some good.
Yep, for sure.
At times. All right. The other one that we didn't talk about this, but Rick brought this up, was that the driving range could use a new coat of paint, of yellow paint
Yeah.
on that line, just to really make it pop. So that, especially with all the kids that are there, you know, they don't always pay attention and they get too
That's
close.
something I
to
can
people.
tell Randy about, for sure.
He could
That's
probably,
that's
he's probably
zone.
his
Not
right up his alley.
15
Yeah.
minutes, but,
Yeah.
Probably already done, you don't even know it.
Rocky,
Very fast.
Yeah.
Samantha's a tagger, just send her down there. Well, Rocky does a great job teaching the juniors about that line, and then now it's becoming invisible. Don't go past that line, he does a great job. I mean, he was
Yeah.
coaching my grandson.
I haven't been practicing, so I guess I need to start practicing and get down the
To see
range
that?
more.
Yeah.
The scores reflect that, for sure.
And I know, Jordan, as you mentioned earlier, this is a very tough time because disease on the golf course is very
Mhm.
easy if not kept in check. So I know you said that requires a lot of time for them to keep an eye on things.
Yeah.
Trees, we talked about this. There's 3 new trees between 11 and 12 near the tee box of 12 and sort of closer to the green on 11. There's 2 new sycamore trees on the right side of 7 that have been planted as well. So that's 5 trees in the last few months. That's pretty good. And then there's also been discussion, Jordan and I spent quite a bit of time talking about putting some tree over on the right side behind the 4th tee in the 3rd rough over there, just because it protects the tee and also kind of makes it playability wise, it adds a little
Yeah, it keeps
another piece.
bombing it over there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, getting hit in the back of the head, you know, that tee box. And then there's a couple trees. You mentioned the one on 11, which is kind of looking stone pine, looking a little dead, and then one on 17, I think as well. That,
Yeah, I think there's one further closer to the tee on 11 too that's
Yeah.
on its way out. It's
Okay.
really yellow, so.
we
Yeah,
talked-
stone pines are
Yeah.
not doing well.
Yeah, well, maybe it's their time. We talked about the bunkers. I don't know if everyone's noticed, but the bunkers have started to really firm up recently as the sand is really compacting. Jordan indicated the bunkers need to be churned up quite a bit more because there's still a lot of good sand there. We just haven't been able. They need to get down to it. Currently, the rake that they use is actually for a baseball diamond on the back of the little tractor thing. So
Yeah.
it doesn't churn it up, right? It doesn't,
Yeah, we're demoing right now last week, like a proper bunker rake, and I didn't realize how badly we needed it. I knew we always needed it, but it was like it's like night and day the quality of the bunkers I've found.
to fluff them up a little
Yeah.
bit. Yeah, because there are some spots, and to be honest, when bunkers get rock hard, it becomes a little bit of a safety issue too, because people end up
Oh, yeah.
stoling shots and come out like rockets, and you can get nailed if you're not careful. So that's good news. Hopefully that's something you guys can get in the budget.
Yeah.
And put aside to purchase that.
Yeah.
Then there's a few notes here about some of the individual holes. We talked about hole 7 in the tee box already. Hole 12, there was talk to look at filling the area of the start of the cart path near the green. It's got a bit of a dip there that's
Oh, yeah.
pretty gnarly on the carts. I think, Rick, you mentioned that.
Yeah, I think we might just turn that over and put grass in, kind of rope it off for, a couple weeks, let the grass grow. We did that on 6, and it's helped.
Cool. Hole 15, we all seen the white tee box and the giant amount of work that's been done there by the city. It looks like there was a drain pipe that's been clogged, and they have to tear up and they have to block off a large portion of the white tee box. Looks like that's going to go for a couple more
Yeah,
months.
so they've run into a big problem where the pipe that they're going to connect to is actually like all dislocated. So they're going to have to retrench a whole new pipe from the street. So with that, they have to like rebid it as well, which is going to take some time. So we're looking at at least another like 6 weeks, I would say. That it's going to be like that. So.
Good to know, I get
Just keep
asked
you
a
guys-
lot.
Yeah. So that's their plan, and hopefully the bidding process is going smooth, so they can get to work.
Hole 16, we talked about the blue tee box and that little native area that we created to stop people teeing off on the right side a couple of years ago. It's kind of gotten a little overgrown. It's been growing rapidly over there. It just has been a lower priority for the team, to be honest. I mean, as Jordan indicated, there's only so many people, time to go around. So they'll continue to kind of let it go a little bit, but try to do
Yeah, we'll look at it this winter.
Yeah.
We'll do something.
So then the other thing is the new pine tree that.
Canary palm.
Oh,
It's in the.
Pine tree that we planted.
no, he's talking about
The giant.
The ones, the Canary Islands that grow in the canyon.
It's right in line with
Yeah, we took care of all those. Oh, you're talking about the pine tree that we planted?
the palm. The
Palm
canary-
tree.
The giant canary palm.
Where?
In front of the blue tees on 16.
We eliminated that
Yeah.
about a year and a half ago. We took out 3 of them.
Okay. But I still see you doing
There's one like 250 yards up,
Yeah.
kind of blocking.
That's
the green,
all
but-
at the corner, right on the corner on the left side.
Yeah.
That's a good tree.
Yeah,
That's,
exactly. That one's gonna grow.
yeah. But they also get a lot of comments about the new tree that we planted about a year ago now,
Mhm.
year and a half ago, and people are concerned that it's not doing well. But Jordan pointed out it is sprouting, it's continuing to grow, even though it looks not as robust as maybe we all thought it was going to look by this point. So it is on its way.
Yeah, it's still young. It's
Yeah.
going through shock a little bit too, but there's a lot of new growth. Like it's got
Yeah.
new like tendrils growing up.
Yeah.
The bark is healthy. You can't just break it off. So
Is it still doing the job of stopping people from aiming?
I think so. Yeah, I think it's that and the combination of that, even though it's it doesn't look significant, it's enough to deter people. You still, if anybody wants to hit it left, they can still hit it left. I mean, we had a guy in club championship who hit it in between that and the other tree on purpose to try to get to the green. So you're never gonna stop everybody, but it's at least a little bit more of a deterrent, as well as using just the left portion of the tee box. I was trying to push Jordan to move the tees even farther to the left to really force people to play out to the right. You don't need to make everybody bomb it over the corner. Make them lay out to the right. That's the way the hole was designed to be played. A couple other notes of interest. We talked about the staff is no longer under the maintenance staff is no longer under Beach Parks and Recreation and moved over under Randy Little. Jordan talked about there's 7. He's got 7 employees full time, 3 temps. The open positions closing this week and an interview next week. So hopefully maybe the 3 guys that are temps become full time. And I asked Jordan what was his ideal number of people, staff. Like if he could have, how many would he go with? And Jordan said 13. 13 would be the ideal. So at 10, we're getting closer to that.
yeah.
Then finally,
Throughout the growing season, like
Yeah.
if we're in wintertime, then we can deal with 10. That's more than enough to do projects and stuff like that. But
I saw
right now, it's like 3 extra guys would be perfect.
I don't know if you ever get asked that, so I thought it was worthwhile noting. Equipment. you got-
31, I'll take 31 too. 13 would be a good number.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
New mower, new rough mower pull along that you got, we talked about, that's new. On order, you've got a truckster, equipment wise, that's
Yep.
gonna be delivered, to just help haul stuff around and just workhorse.
Mm.
And then next up, based on funding availability, would be the new bunker rake that you guys are demoing. And you also talked about wanting to get a T-mower if that was possible.
Trim mower.
Trim mower.
Yeah, it's another kind of rough mower so we can get around bunkers and just tight
You
spaces.
talked about a T-mower too, I thought you had like a second.
Yeah, well, you need we need that too. Yeah.
Yeah, that was on my list.
Yeah.
So that was what I was able to capture in the
Alright.
time that we were together.
I wanted to comment on the pitching green over there. You've done a great job bringing that thing back. You got a little mown area for chipping and one for pitching. And
Yeah, it's been nice having an assistant superintendent. I don't know if you've met Jeff, but he's definitely
I
took the
have.
bull by the horns, and he's made that area look really good.
He
So.
takes that place very personally.
Yeah.
With his spray paint,
Yeah.
spray paint sign saying.
Yeah,
"Do not-"
that's his baby, so you can thank him, and it's been nice, you know, because he spends a lot of time over there, which is time that I could not dedicate to it because I was busy doing other things. So that's kind of the benefits of having an assistant superintendent, where it's something I don't have to think about. He's taken that off my plate, and he's done a great job. So it's been good.
I wanted to mention that when you can see where some of the e-bikes have been, and you can see how well you and your team are fixing the problems. That's
Yeah,
really, really
yeah,
impressive.
it's something we've got to do. You know, it's time that would be better spent elsewhere, but you know, we can't just let huge 10-foot ruts in the middle of the greens go. So you know, it's time consuming, but it's part of the job. I mean, I don't think any courses are immune to that. You know, there's always, you know, I've worked at high-end golf courses where there have been divots in the front, like in the middle of the greens, just from people upset about missing a putt or something. So that was,
Yeah, yeah.
comments from committee members. Mr. Azzolini.
Does our house subcommittee meet the same thing?
What?
Did you guys meet the meeting?
No.
You guys
Are we
did?
okay?
No, we didn't change anything.
I wasn't sure if they had any comments.
Okay.
Nick, got anything?
No, I spent
Yeah.
the first round in Florida.
The only thing I had on my list was, I know we've talked previously
see
about the
the-
liability signs, plays into what you said on 5, the
Okay.
liability signs. We talked about having one at the entryway. I know Jordan, I don't know if you said you had some, but at the beginning, basically letting people know they're responsible for anything they do with their own golf ball, right? You know, talked about having
get those
something.
drawn up. Sure.
You know, I don't know if we got anywhere with it, but we had mentioned it in the past, you know. You see some courses have it on the first tee or near the, you know, or even inside the pro shop when you're checking in, there's something that just basically says, you know.
I've seen it on a lot of golf courses, but we could probably use that sign on 12 on the tee.
Yeah, one over there. And so that's it for me.
I don't have anything. Mark,
Thank you for the warm welcome. Nice to join you all.
good to have you.
The only thing I had was maybe, and it happened to me again, that little deflection on 17. I just want to go on record.
Again,
I just actually had that happen to me again.
I saw how somebody club championship.
What's that, Rick? You get hit up on the cart path and rolls back down? Is that what you're talking
Yeah, well, sometimes I
You all
get good
the
and
time.
it creeps on the cart path and then I lose 100 yards.
You want us to put a barrier on the car?
Deflection, so it knocks me back down the fairway instead of rolls all the way back to the tee. That's ridiculous. Anyway, entertaining a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, Debbie, read all that back, will you?
I'm on it.
Thanks, Rick, for stepping up to do that again.
Yeah, thanks for the ambush.
Mandy put me up to it. No, it's kidding. I'll take full
Man
responsibility.
just wouldn't do something like that.
No,
I
she's
just need you to sign the
Oh,
approval
yeah.
of the last one. Please.
don't worry, we won't do it to you next week.